and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel, whichever one it may be. And if you are new here, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, do all those wonderful things, and join me for more. Yeah, and just become part of this crazy vampire cat tribe that we got going on over here. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So we had the collaboration with 7 Great, and this is the second video that I'm making for this collaboration. And I'm just going to show you the products that I chose and were sent to me because these are cute. So we have the cute cat here. The watercolor cat, super cute. Can't wait to work on that one, actually. I can't wait to work on any of these. Then we have some bunny rabbits because Easter is coming, and I thought this one was really cute with the boat and the bunnies, and a little bit Valentine's-y too because he's got some flowers. All right, and then the last one is this cute little dragon that I don't think he had a cover sheet. I don't remember, I couldn't find it. But this is the one we're going to work on today because it is Year of the Dragon. And yeah, so we're going to work on it, and I'm going to teach you how to cross stitch. Now, I'm going to teach you how to cross stitch based upon what I learned from my grandmother back in the 1900s. 1990s to be exact. Which is still so weird to think that that has now become, like, a thing. A thing. Have you seen those memes? The, wow, your year starts with 19? Yeah, I spent 20 years in 19, honey. 20 of them. All right, but anyway, yeah, so I learned how to cross stitch from my grandmother when I was a teenager. And I learned in the 90s. I graduated in the 90s, so that kind of gives you an idea of how old I am. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into this little guy. So we have 2 color codes here. For the floss, they give you a little picture of what color to put your floss on over here. Now, that's not going to match up with what color floss you're using, so don't worry about that. But it is going to match up here or on the guide, what do you call these? I can't remember. The pattern, on the pattern as well. Because in some cases, you're not just going to be doing a cross stitch, but you could be doing a single stitch, a double stitch, which is what the cross is, or you could be doing a line stitch. I don't see any of that in this one. This is straight through cross stitch, so this is a pretty good one for a beginner to do. Even though it's a full stitch, it would be pretty good for a beginner because you don't have to worry about learning other stitches or doing other stitches. Not that it's that hard to do a single stitch or a line stitch or anything. It's just, you don't have to do that with this. You just stick with the one straight up cross stitch. I'm gonna get a drink of my coffee here. It is first thing in the morning for me. All right. So in the kit, you get everything you need. So we're going to go ahead and pull out a needle. I'm going to show you how I keep my needle when I'm not currently using it. I'm going to pull that guy out too because I've been wanting one of those. And then this is the little finger protector. It's adjustable, so you can adjust it to the size of your finger. I should probably use this because I have a tendency to push the end of the needle with the tip of my finger, so I should probably use this. Maybe I'll give that a try. I've never used one in the past, but we'll see. And then we're just going to pick a needle here. Pick this one. And I'm going to put the rest back in this bag. So we have our needle. There we go. We have our needle, and it disappeared into my hand. There we go. And we have this is actually a threader to help you thread your needle. So when I'm not actively stitching, I just put my needle in the corner of my canvas and just keep it there. And I'll always pretty much put it back in the same corner so I can just go to that corner when I need my needle. Now we're gonna look at the floss, and this is floss. If you've ever made those little friendship bracelets, this is what you use to make those friendship bracelets too. You can get them pretty much anywhere. At one point in time, I had a whole DMC set, and I'm kind of sad that I let my mother sell it on me. But you know, life happens, because I would probably still have a full DMC set of floss if I didn't let her sell it. But anyway, so this is the floss. So we have a lot of white. There's gonna be a lot of white in this kit. And then here are the other colors. And they have already nicely separated them out for you on this board here, so that you can just grab the color that you want. I'm gonna go ahead and start with color number 1. And move out of the way too. Okay. Color number 1 of our floss. Nice purple. It's pulling 2 with it. It's fine. We'll just move 2 right back where it needs to go. Let me separate a single strand of the floss, and I just realized I don't know if I have cross stitch since I clipped my nails. I started a new job, so I ended up cutting my nails because I just thought I'd break them at the new job anyway, so it was just easier to just cut them and have nice clean nails. But anyway, there we go. And then I'm going to put the leftovers, or what's left, back onto the board in the one spot, so that I always remember that that is the number 1. And that way I keep it nice, neat, organized, and I don't have to worry about trying to find that color again if I were to, say, leave it somewhere else. And then put that to the side, and we're going to take this floss. Now this is, does it say? It says 18 up here, but I think that's just the number of the canvas. So this is just the canvas code. So when you match up your floss to it, you can use this canvas code. Is it even on the floss? I don't think it is. It's not. But yeah, that's just the canvas code, basically. So for sale purposes and stuff like that, you can look up this canvas code, and it will always bring up this canvas, because it's basically the UPC, or the number that goes along with the canvas. We don't really need you out here anymore, so we'll put you off to the side. They do give you a little instruction sheet of how to cross stitch. And 11 count, 14 count. Okay, so they just say 11 count and 14 count. I'm going to say that this is probably 14 count. But the difference is that with 11 count, you're only going to use 1 strand of this floss, and that's 1 little strand. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but I'm basically just taking 1, it's like a piece of thread out of the main grouping, or out of the whole thing. So you're not using this whole chunk, you're just using 1 piece of thread out of it. So with 11 count, you would just use this 1 piece, whoops, this 1 piece. So you would put this in your needle, and you would just, hook it over on the end just a little bit, so that it's not, you can pull through with your thread, and you would just go through cross stitching with the 1 piece. With 14 count, you're going to use 2, and the easiest way to do that is to just take your 1 piece of thread, put it in half, and have your 2 ends come to meet together, and now you have 2. Now I do that on the needle. So we'll go ahead and thread this needle. I have been threading needles without a threader, and I realize that I'm starting to get old, so I kind of want to cheat now. I want the threader. But I've done this like my whole life of not using a threader. So now I kind of want a threader. Let's go ahead and use the threader. So I put the threader through the needle, and then I'm just going to loop this little piece of thread. Can you sit up there where you're supposed to sit? Thank you. Through this, and then we'll just pull the needle back over and onto the thread. And now my needle is threaded. Very handy, very easy, love it. Okay, I need to separate this back out again. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing where I match it up to have 2 strands. So this way you don't have to try to fight with the 2 actual strands of thread. You're just using 1 strand of thread and turning it into 2. And it's basically the same thing as what you'd be doing with 1. So now we're going to find this code here for number 1. And the DMC code for this is 206. That's a purple. It's a purple. If you kind of know your DMC codes, I tend to know purples because purple is my favorite color, so I do kind of tend to know what numbers are in the purple range. And you kind of get to know the DMC codes a little bit, especially if you're working with something like cross stitch, because you tend to have to actually purchase the floss yourself. And not always, but if you get a pattern book, let's say that you get a book full of patterns, and you now have to go out and purchase all of the floss to go for that pattern yourself. And then you have to find a way to store that floss. And yeah, it's it's good. It's fun. I really enjoyed it. And I have a few pattern books somewhere because I'm pretty sure I kept my pattern books. She made me get rid of my other stuff, but I'm like, I'm going to keep these just in case I ever want to come back to it. So I'm going to pick one of these boxes here to start with. We can kind of zoom in, I think, a little down on here. So I'm just going to pick one of the boxes that matches up with this. So this square here, this square over here, it's in the horns here. And I'm just going to start by putting my needle through, if I can do it, there we go, through a hole at the bottom corner of that box. Now that's just how I start. You can start on any corner, whatever feels comfortable with you. That's how I've always cross-stitched. Now I'm going to pull my thread through. And you notice I didn't tie it off. I didn't do anything like that. I just left it as straight thread. I pull it through, and I'm just going to hold it down in the back here with my finger basically along the line of where I'm going to be stitching, because I know those boxes are going down. I'm going to hold it down. If it was across, I'd hold it across, but I know those boxes are going down, so I'm just going to hold it down. And then I'm going to start stitching, and you're going to be doing a slant stitch because it's a cross stitch. So instead of going to the one directly above, you're going to go to the one across and up, so that you end up with, I don't know if it will really show, but it's a line, a slanted line like that. And then you're going to come up on the opposite side of where you just put your needle through. And let's see, find the actual hole. Sometimes you end up hitting it through the canvas line, like, rather than through the holes in the canvas. It's weird. All right, and then I'm going to pull through. And now I'm going to go to the bottom corner, making another slant. And you have a cross. So I can show you a big one of how it will look. We'll say that this one square right here, or actually we use the corner one over here. This one square right here is the cross, and we're going to put it into the bottom corner. Your crosses are really tiny, so you're going to put it into the bottom corner like this. And then you're going to make your slant, and you're going to go over like this so that you end up with a line like that. Don't worry, I can undo this. And then you're going to come back through like this into the either the top corner or the bottom corner. Doesn't matter which, because you're just basically making a cross. So however you feel comfortable with it, you're just making a cross. And now the easiest way to undo a stitch if you've messed up is to put the back end of the needle into the stitch. And the back end, sorry, I just bumped the microphone, that was horrible. The back end tends to help you out a little bit rather than the front end because it already has the thread on it, so the thread just catches on itself and pulls through. You can do it with the front end, but I found it to be easier with the back. Where are you? Did I get you? Yeah, I think so. Okay. And now I'm undoing my thing. Whoops, I actually accidentally stabbed myself with a needle there. I don't usually do that, but. And you can see it's just disappearing right before your eyes. And that one didn't do it. What did we get stuck on? Oh, I see. There is a little bit of that canvas between these two. There's still one little thread of canvas between you. Sometimes this is hard, and I'm going to use the front end because I'm just trying to go through one little strand. Sometimes that happens. It's really, once you're working with the canvas, it gets easier to undo. This canvas is still pretty brand new, so it's kind of stiff. All right, I think I got it. Nope, I didn't. There we go. Got it. Now I got it. Okay. So it's completely gone, that one that I just did. That was a little bit more of a chore. Do I have that piece here? No. All right. You can get rings. You sell them at Walmart and stuff. They're just a ring that goes around. They have an inner and an outer piece that will hold your canvas kind of straight for you when you're working on it. When I just learned to kind of like fold the canvas in my hand to work where I need to work. So, all right, and this little, there we go. Back down. So then when I need to work over here, I can put my thumb kind of close to where I'm going to be working. This canvas is really stiff, so it is being kind of difficult on me. And then I can just work right up against my thumb kind of, and it helps hold the canvas steady as I'm working. And when you first start out, it really looks kind of funky because all you have is like one little stitch out here. You don't have any more than that. But as you're doing more and more, and as your canvas starts to fill up, it looks really cool. And you'll be able to see more. I'm just going to do a few more stitches here. So we're just doing that pattern. of a cross. I'm going to push this one all the way through because I tend not to go to the back of the canvas. Once I'm actually working, I keep my hand in the front of the canvas. But you're going to poke up through that bottom hole of your square. And then you're going to put your needle through the top, making your slanted line, your slash. And I put it all the way through. As you can see, I tend not to work into the back of the canvas anymore. I'll be completely up with my hand in the front of the canvas, and I can just keep working. We're going down into that bottom corner of that cross, that box, and I'm going into the next box, the bottom corner of the next box, and therefore I can start my next cross without having to go to the back of the canvas. Now you can. It's going to be a lot more energy to keep going to the back of the canvas. Then you're going to poke through. I'm actually going to go to the one next to this. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that because it's in the same hole and I don't want to pull my thread back out. All right, so go down one, and then you're going to go back out. And as you can see, I have to move my hand to the back of the canvas every single time. And it can be a little bit more tiring on your hand having to do that. Rather than, you know, just go to the next box down here. Keeping your hand and pushing your needle through the canvas in the front, and just keeping your hand in the front of the canvas. So you can see it's a little bit easier for you. You don't have to keep moving your hand to the back, to the front, to the back. As you're working, you can just work in the front and keep going. And then let's say that as of right now, I have to go feed the cats or do something like that. I can just take my needle. I'm just going to stick it into the corner, thread and all, leave it just like that. That is how I learned to cross stitch from my grandmother. And I think it's a pretty easy way. It's pretty understandable. And once you know the difference between 11 count and 14 count, that's, you know, I don't think I've ever really done an 11 count. Maybe I have, but I don't think so. That's more of an embroidery kind of thing rather than a cross stitch. But it is in cross stitch, like you can come across it. And you'll be able to just work at your own pace and create your own beautiful artwork. And the company that sent this is 7 Great. All of their information is down in the description. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but I didn't. I think I mentioned that it was 7 Great that sent them to me at the beginning. But all of the information is down in the description. You can get a discount using a code. It's also down in the description. And that code works for every purchase that you decide to make from the company. So if you decide to purchase from the company, then you see another one you like at another point, you can still use that code again, which is really nice. Most of the time your codes only work once, so that this code actually continues to work is really nice. I'm just going to go back up and do this line here. And these are really nice quality feeling canvases. I'm just going to go with the canvas. As far as for cross stitch, the holes are pretty well seen. You don't have too much. I don't feel like I'm going to have too much issue with running through the canvas itself, not the hole in the canvas, but like through the actual grid work of the canvas. So it's really nice. It's really easy. It can be fun. And I'm going to put this on my finger. See if it helps. Like I said, I've never used one of these, so I don't know how it will be. And this will probably work up pretty easily for me because it's, even though it's a full, so you can have full and you can have partial. and this one is a full. So even though it's a full stitch, I don't think it'll be that hard or take that long. I would definitely recommend this particular kit for a beginner because it's just cross stitch, and it would just, you could just learn how to cross stitch on something like this. And then you can start doing the fancy stitches and stuff because there are more stitches out there. It's kind of like any other craft. There is the basics where you're just doing one set of stitches, and then there is the more advanced version where you're going to be adding special things in it, like a half stitch or a knot or a straight stitch, a line stitch, or Rebel wants in. So I should probably end this video and go bring him in. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. And I'm just going to finish up these two right over here. Now, normally I would work these in as I was working along. So I would start on the right side and work my way to the left because that's how I work. I'm right-handed. So I start on the right and I work to the left. And I would just incorporate these stitches in as I go along so that I have the least amount of up and down in the back as possible. So you want your back to remain as neat and clean as possible because it helps your front to stay neat and clean. So there we have, where is it? Where are you? There. Okay, so there we have our first set of stitches laid down on this piece. You should be able to see them there, that purple. It really kind of stands out. I'm glad I chose that color because it really kind of stands out against the canvas. And yeah, you can see how that looks there. I messed up a little bit. No, not really. I think once I pull this one tight, it will look good. Yeah, that's all it needed. So it's looking pretty good. I got a bunch of stitches going along, they're cross stitches, but I should go get Rebel. So I hope you've enjoyed my video and that you've learned something from it and you would enjoy doing cross stitch yourself. I'm just going to put my needle off to the corner. And I'm done. So thank you for watching.